right now, specific AI is better at humans in almost everything it does. So specific AI has a better result set than any radiologist on Earth.
And just for people that don't know, specific AI or narrow AI it's one task. Go get good at reading an X-ray. Go get good at playing chess, playing Go, whatever.
Correct. So, okay, fine. They think that Mo Gawdat thinks that by the end of this decade, AGI, so that's a generalist AI. So, like humans or ChatGPT is a general.
You can navigate a grocery store. You can play chess. You can play in the markets.
Guess what the weather's going to be like?
Point it at anything.
Anything. You know, like I could ask you a question. You can ask me a question. So he thinks that with the computational power and the progression of where this is going, that it's almost certain that by the end of this decade, we get to the point where AI is smarter than humans. Now, we don't really worry about that because we already think it's smarter than us at doing certain things, and soon it'll be smarter than us at driving cars, and it's already smarter than us at flying planes. We just kind of take it for granted. We don't see it. But then if you get to the Ray Kurzweil singularity point, and Mo Gawdat says, okay, here's the really big problem, and this is exactly what Noah Harari says as well, is when you take it, extrapolate it a little bit further out into the future. So Ray Kurzweil's singularity moment is 2049. But even before then, it becomes 1,000 times smarter than the smartest person who ever lived.
Yeah, I want to linger on that for a second. So I'm writing a video article, is probably the right way to think about this, on AI. And so I ran the math. A moron is clinically defined as somebody with an IQ of 70. Einstein had an IQ of 160, and the smartest person to ever be recorded is 210. So that means that the difference between the smartest person that ever lived and a moron is 3x. The difference between Einstein and a moron is 2.3x. And when you think about Einstein gave us insights that created the nuclear bomb, nuclear power, lasers, GPS, so much of the modern world that we take for granted from one series of insights from a guy that isn't even the smartest guy that ever lived. And so now, when you start talking about if 2.3x gets us the modern world, what does 1,000 times get us? Like, I have the chills. I don't think people understand the orders of magnitude that we're talking about.
No, well, the order of magnitude was explained by Mo Gawdat. It's the difference between an ant and Einstein.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really does become an entirely different species.
This is the problem.
And even before, so I wanna keep our conversation in stages. We'll get to killer robots and all that stuff down the road. And by the way, I want everybody to understand, I think by the end of this, I think you and I are both techno optimists. I'm going to drag people a little bit through. Interesting. Maybe you're not. We're going to drag people a little bit through the scary. I certainly will paint the picture of how I think we do this well, but I want to make sure that we don't get to that in a naive way, and that we really talk about, especially as I think about the economy. So here's the fascinating thing about the singularity. Now, you and I in our last interview, we actually differed in how we define the singularity. So I think it'll be worth taking a second. So for me, the singularity, certainly as Ray Kurzweil defined it, it's borrowing this idea from cosmology, which is that a black hole has an event horizon. The event horizon is the moment at which everything, light, data, information, however you want to think about it, is getting pulled inside. And once you're past that event horizon, we have no idea what happens. And what he was saying is technology is going to rev up on this exponential curve so fast that the AI itself will innovate so rapidly that you'll no longer be able to predict the future. And so the future becomes an event horizon. My hypothesis is that event horizon is coming to us very, very quickly. And like you said, I thought he said 2045, you said 2049. Equivalent, right? It is within our lifetimes. So you have this moment where, using at least my understanding of the definition, where the future is no longer predictable. It's iterating so quickly. Like even you and I just spoke very recently. And even since you and I last spoke, things have changed so much. We were talking about, oh, they got to 1 million users in whatever 4 or 5 days on ChatGPT. We're now, what, 3 months later, it's north of 100 million users. People are integrating it so quickly into their own pipelines. At Impact Theory, we actively use AI now in multiple ways. And people are making new tools that we will subsume as quickly as we can do so well. But so that's my take on the singularity. How do you define, what is the singularity in your mind?
Look, yes, I agree with that definition, and it's Ray Kurzweil's definition. I also think of it that the point potentially where humans and the robots merge.
Interesting. Do you think that'll happen that fast?
Yes, because augmentation, you're already wearing an Apple Watch, an Aura Ring, people already have pacemakers, right? We're merging with machines. You're sitting there with little earphones in.
Oh my God. Can I give you a crazy thought that's extending exactly what you're saying, which is funny. I've not thought about this in a while. So there's a guy named David Eagleman he's a neuroscientist. He created a vest, and the vest will vibrate on you in different patterns. And he was talking about it from an Umwelt perspective. He was saying every species has an Umwelt. It's the things that you can see, that you can hear, like a bat obviously uses echolocation. We're not going to be able to do that. Humans only see 0.0035% of the available electromagnetic spectrum. What we call visible light is a tiny fucking fraction of what's actually available. So that's an Umwelt. And he said, okay, I created this vest, and it can create a pattern on you that you'll begin to quote unquote see, because your brain begins to interpret it as a visual, or you could use it for visual stimulus, but he said you could also use it for things like where the stock market is. And you could get a pattern that represents it's going up, you could get a pattern that represents that it's going down. You could have one pattern represents the NASDAQ going up, another pattern that represents the New York Stock Exchange going up. It's just insane.
But don't forget, that is what Braille is. You've transferred a written flat text into now you feel it. You don't read it, you feel it. Audio is hearing it. You know, all of these things are happening all around us. But anyway, so I think of the singularity also as that potential for mankind and machine to merge. And the reason being is, A, we will adopt it because it's better than us. The question is what comes out after that? And so I think it still gets to that event horizon, is you get to the point where you're augmented, and then it's who runs who. And that's the point we don't know.
Please make sure to like the video and subscribe to our channel. Leave us a comment down below about what topics you would like to see covered next. Thanks for watching.